We'll be arriving in Sydney today, which sadly means the end of our epic Australian campervan trip. We love it here and know we'll be back again. Before we drop the van off, we've received lots of questions about what a trip like this costs, so let's do a quick review. For simplicity, we've converted everything into US dollars at our average exchange rate of $1.30 Australian to $1 US, and used miles and gallons instead of kilometers and liters. We've been on the road for 20 days, driven 2,060 miles using 99 gallons of diesel fuel. That's an average fuel economy of 20.8 miles per gallon. With diesel averaging $2.98 per gallon, we spent a total of $295 on fuel. Our top-of-the-line Maui Ultima Plus campervan rental with all the bells and whistles cost a total of $3,138, which included the 5% Go by Camper discount. We'll put a link down below that you can click to get the same discount on your own Maui campervan rental. The average cost of staying at a typical caravan park was about $24 per night. Of course, you can keep those costs down by free camping as much as possible. To get our days off to a quick start, we prepared breakfast on board almost every day. We ate lunch out about 50% of the time and ate dinner out about 90% of the time. We were on vacation after all. Even though we had dinner at a number of very nice restaurants, our total average daily food expenses came in just under $50 a day for the two of us. A Vodafone SIM card for our iPhone ran $22.79 for a month, including 10 gigabytes of data, unlimited voice and texting, including calls to the US and Canada. We're crossing the Harbour Bridge into Sydney, which means we're getting very close to the end of our adventure. Our trip down under started in Sydney a month and a half ago, but this is the first time we've driven here. After 3 weeks of practice, driving in this big city is a piece of cake, especially with traffic reasonably light. The moment of truth has arrived as we pull into Maui's Sydney rental office. As one person's adventure ends, these rigs are prepared for the next exciting trip. Not that there was anything at all wrong with our little camper van, but we always like to keep our options open for next trip, so maybe we'll do something a little bigger next time, like this one right here.
We're already packed. Let's just take it and go.
Apparently you've already decided that this is an option for next time, huh?
Absolutely. This is really comfy.
So we have the bed area back here, just like we had in our current one, but the biggest difference is in this one is that there's also a bed up front. So if we decided that we wanted to leave the rear area set up as a living room, we wouldn't have to tear down the bed every morning and set it up every evening. So something like this has lots of potential if we want to go with something a little bit bigger, if we're willing to compromise on size. I would say that a Class C type like this, which is of course what we call it in North America, would work out really well.
It's absolutely would be really comfortable for a longer trip. 3 weeks is probably about my limit in that size camper van. This would be great for a longer trip.
Okay, well we'll reserve it right now.
Okay.
Oh, hold on, I want to take a quick look in the bathroom. Oh, how do you like that? It's a separate toilet and shower instead of a wet bath. Okay, I'm sold. Again, nothing wrong with the one we had. It was great because the size made it so we could park it in just about any parking space. But this is a lot of nice extra space, even for 2 people. I know a rig like this can technically sleep 4 to 6 people, but I'm thinking that it would be super comfortable for 2, and I would consider this next time.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the windows here. They're more openable windows with screens, which would be great for free camping / dry camping with the breezes coming through.
Okay, we'll consider it for next time. And of course the trade-off is that it's not going to fit in a parking space quite as easily, but might be worth it. So after moving out of our camper van and already dreaming of our next one, we took our luggage and walked to the subway, looking like a couple of dejected homeless people. We really felt out of place after making that van our home for nearly 3 weeks, although some of the sting wore off when we saw the view of the Sydney Opera House from our hotel room window. We spent the next couple of days exploring Sydney, getting out onto the water several times for great views and day trips into the surrounding area. The highlight of our time in town was an evening walk out onto the Harbour Bridge, which provides expansive views of downtown and the Sydney Opera House, day or night. Now it's time to go home for real, on another immense Airbus A380, which is only slightly larger than the Blanca Viking we owned before we started RVing. Having been a pilot for over 25 years, of course, I sit in the left seat whenever we fly, and John sits in the right seat, just like on the RV.
But they're nice displays. They're big, bright. And
Yeah, nice and clear.
easy to read. The computer, like the flight management computer, which is half of the life of these airplanes these days.
Yeah.
You know, that's a big screen, and the keyboard. It's very handy, and it all.
This is amazing.
This is very similar to the Viking.
Oh yeah, I feel right at home. And
I
we're
had-
about the same distance apart too.
When I say our plane had steam gauges, I think they really ran off steam. We've got a serious 15-hour flight ahead of us, so let's get this show on the road. We look into one final farewell view of downtown Sydney. We promise we'll be back. After flying across the international date line, we actually land in Los Angeles 3.5 hours before we took off. So we waste no time heading off on another adventure in our own RV. Thanks so much for coming along on our Australia road trip. If you're thinking about caravanning down under yourself, be sure to check out our resources page at theRVgeeks.com/Australia. In the meantime, stay tuned for more of our regularly scheduled RV-related programming. Oh! I was going to say we better hold on to it. I'm going to say that again. We've snorkeled in Hawaii. Oh.
I know you're willing. Too busy, you know, to be hand-feeding these. Nope.
Go ahead. Yes. It's recording. But we don't have sun.
Darn it.
I'm sinking in here.
Yeah, I know. We're going to be in China by the time we're done videoing.
Just backwards, nice and easy, and you'll stop and you go a little bit backwards. We're here, big floor, and there we go.
Hey, don't eat that. Hey, hey. So we're going to go with that theme, and we've decided that tonight we're going to leave this area and we're going to head south.
You're gonna head south to Uruguay?
After we leave there, our next intention is to go to Port Mackay. With,
Port Macquarie.
sorry,
Port Macquarie.
Macquarie.
With the sync and the range in
All we're going to do is take the female side of this, come over to this flap right here. Okay, we need the key to get into our water fill. See if I get the right one. how to remember the most important time when you might make a mistake, and that's going around corners. And that is tight right, wide left. Did I get that right?
You got that wrong.
Did I?
Yes. Tight left.
Oh, wait.
Wide right.
Hold on.
It's completely backwards. This is our last day on the road. How confident do you feel driving on the left?
I'm worried about going back to North America. I'm afraid I'm going to drive on the left-hand side now. I've been converted.
I've been watching you do it for so long that it probably feels more natural to me on my first time than it did for you on your first time.
Well, you're doing great so far.
And we're not dead yet.
And
Do the clap.
should I take my? I'm leaving my
No,
cap on.
you leave it on. Yeah, that's continuity.
Got it.
Okay.
So
So I'm thinking we pour half. I'll
you,
pour half a glass of
you
orange
shake
juice.
that. Well, don't you put this in first?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I'm thinking that in order to make sure we don't put in too much champagne, whatever, it doesn't matter.
I'm gonna. Oh, don't even open it. Yeah, I guess you can shake that up while I open this. You shake it up real good. Okay. Okay. You ready? It's gonna go.
Don't shoot me in the eye.
I won't. You ready? Oh, it's gonna overflow, isn't it?
It
I'll
might.
let it pop.
Cheers.
It landed over there. Okay. Okay. You do the OJ. Perfect. Good. And just set it down. And then freeze.
Holding it.
Just freeze in some position. In case we need natural accelerator. Well, luckily I popped the cork before the helicopter.
I don't know what that was. It could have been a bird.
Let's
Cooking area has two obvious necessities. The first of which is the sink.
don't actually
We use it to store our dish soap and our hand soap while we're traveling so they don't slide off the counter. And the other side being the cooktop. Lift the lid. 3 burners. Okay. Now, before we can use the cooktop, there are 2 things that need to be turned on. The first of which is the LPG or propane, and the second thing is there's a power switch. So in our master control panel